What's going on, Lakers fans? Welcome into the Lakers Report. My name is Patrick Siepman, and we have a loaded show for you guys today as we have rumors around Darius Garland, JJ Redick, and Zach LaVine, as all of these guys are being connected to Los Angeles this offseason. We'll be diving into all of this and more to start off today's show. But first, right before I was walking in the studio, I actually had my boss say, "Hey, Patrick, can Lakers fans get 200 likes on today's show?" Well, the challenge is out there for you guys. Will you guys respond and help me out and help me avoid a pretty ugly meeting with my bosses if we don't get 200 likes? So help me out, prove them wrong. Just drop a like on today's video. It is completely free. All right, let's talk about it. The latest around Darius Garland potentially heading to the Lakers, as the Cavaliers are going to be looking to trade Darius Garland or Donovan Mitchell. But as it stands right now, I believe the Cavs will end up keeping Donovan Mitchell and ending up trading away Darius Garland. Actually, Shams Charania, one of the most tapped-in insiders in the NBA, had this to say around the Cleveland Cavaliers situation. He said, "Furthermore, rival executives believe the Cavs will have to seriously evaluate the fit of Mitchell and Garland and ultimately may have to choose one or the other. Should Mitchell decide to stay long-term," sources briefed on the matter say Garland's representation, Clutch Sports CEO Rich Paul, would have a conversation with Cavs officials on potentially finding a new home for the one-time All-Star. So as it stands right now, if Donovan Mitchell wants to sign a long-term deal with Cleveland, I fully expect Darius Garland to be on the way out. And listen, the young star point guard for Cleveland, I think he's one of the NBA's best-kept secrets. Now, obviously, he was an all-star. He is a pretty well-known name, but I don't think people really understand how good this guy is. And you look at the numbers on screen right now. I mean, dating back to 2020, averaging over 17 a game each of those seasons, always incredibly efficient, shooting in the high 30s and low 40s from downtown, and just, maintaining his playmaking ability, averaging over 6 assists a game over the last 4 years. And he was absolutely fantastic in that 2021 season where he averaged 22 and 9 on incredibly efficient play as well. And yes, this past year was necessarily a down year due to his high standard for Darius Garland, but I gotta chalk that up to he's dealing with injuries, and I just think the fit next to Donovan Mitchell, I think they just kind of wore each other out, where it was too much your turn, my turn, and not fully running a team offense. And that's where I think Darius Garland could excel, where if you have him not be the complete number one option as a scorer, but to be that guy that is the captain and the quarterback of an offense in the NBA, I think he would excel at that position. Now let's talk about him in the postseason this past year. He did struggle, no doubt about it. You just see the numbers just all naturally go down, and I think, it was a tough matchup for him going against the Orlando Magic because they have some really good defensive guards, and obviously we know what a wagon that is in Boston with the Boston Celtics, but he still was able to, have a pretty good year. 15 a game, 6 assists, efficiency did go down a couple of notches in both spots, but in terms of what he would look like with the Los Angeles Lakers, I think this would be a perfect fit. And I came to that conclusion when I was making this video. If you rolled out a lineup of Garland, Reeves, LeBron, whoever you want at that 4-5 next to Anthony Davis, that would be an incredibly efficient offense. And we obviously know how good Anthony Davis is defensively. He would just be able to carry that unit, to have a top 10 defense in the NBA. But in terms of his fit, him coming off the pick and roll, having the lob threat of AD, can get to that push little floater shot that he loves, and having maybe a shooter on the outside like a Reeves. Obviously, I would prefer a more true shooter around a guy like Garland, but I think this would be perfect for him. He's young, he's got fresh legs, and I think he would be able to carry more of an offensive load and be more of a true point guard in LA in comparison to what he's been dealing with here in Cleveland, just because of Donovan Mitchell. His usage rate is always so high, and it kind of seems like Garland was just kind of getting the secondary options and the secondary choice for that offense. But in LA, I think it would be the focal point, and I would absolutely love him with the Lakers. I think that would be probably my number one move for LA this offseason. But let's just say it goes the other direction, and let's just say they decide to keep Garland and they're moving off Mitchell. Who would you rather trade for the Lakers? Give me a DG for Darius Garland, or give me a DM for Donovan Mitchell. Keep in mind, it's going to cost a whole lot more to trade for D. Mitch. All right, let's talk about JJ Redick here and what's the latest around him, as we did have an interesting quote from Shams Charania, breaking down the whole connection between LeBron James, JJ Redick. You know, they got a podcast together. Like, is LeBron pushing for JJ Redick behind the scenes? Well, Shams kind of shut that down earlier today. He said, I'm told LeBron James is not involved in the Lakers head coaching search. James has made it clear that the organization's decision, that this is the organization's decisions. He's had no conversations with the Lakers about JJ Redick, and I laughed my ass off when I heard this, frankly. I think this was clearly coming from Rich Paul telling Shams, tweet that out or say that quote on his podcast, because I just can't see that being the case, that the Lakers and LeBron James have not had a single conversation on who he wants to be the next head coach. Because if I was running the Lakers, the first guy I would go to would be LeBron James and get his thought on JJ Redick. I just think that was complete cap from Shams Charania. But let's just say that is true. Let's just say LeBron and the Lakers have had no conversations about JJ Redick possibly becoming the next head coach. Well, could this be an insight that LeBron James might not be returning to the Lakers? Because what if the Lakers front office, Rob Pelinka, came down to LeBron and said, hey, let's talk about the next head coaching job. And LeBron just like, I don't want to talk about it. This is your guys' choice. This is your organization. You guys make the decision, because LeBron knows he's not going to opt back in, and he is going to test free agency. I don't know. I was kind of putting on my Brian Windhorst fingers when I was connecting the dots on that one. But, maybe Shams is right, or maybe this was just complete, BS coming from, Rich Paul telling Shams to say that. But, who really knows what's true right now? But if it's not JJ Redick, there are some other head coaching candidates out there for the Los Angeles Lakers, and I'm a big fan of all these guys. James Borrego, probably my least favorite option out of the group, but he's got a really good relationship with Anthony Davis, so keep that in mind. David Edelman, the Nuggets assistant, I would really love this hire for the Lakers. I think he's going to work out and be a great head coach in the NBA, but these two at the bottom are my two favorite. Sam Cassell, he is one of the best player development coaches we have in the NBA, and I think at the Lakers, if you're looking like a more long-term play, I think Sam Cassell would be my top choice, because eventually the Lakers are going to either go to more of a youth movement after LeBron and AD do end up, getting off this team eventually. But then also Micah Norrie. So this is the Timberwolves coach who, if you guys have been watching the series that just got wrapped up versus the Denver Nuggets, he is the one on the sidelines while their head coach is behind the bench right now. So Micah Norrie, if you guys wanted to put a face to that name, he is the guy that is currently acting as the head coach for the Timberwolves during these games. But you guys let me know, who do you want as the next Lakers head coach? I've said it, I'm kind of a fan of JJ Redick. I know it would be a polarizing kind of boom or bust hire, but I really do think it would work out. I think in this social media era, I think a lot of these guys go on their phones and they see all this positivity around JJ Redick. I think it just psychologically, could just earn him respect heading into that locker room. And plus, if LeBron James is a fan of him, I'm sure other guys on the team would be like, oh, LeBron's a fan, I'm a fan. So I would go JJ Redick, but if you guys disagree, give me another option down below. All right, coming up next, Zach LaVine. What's the latest on him heading to Los Angeles? Because we remember at last year's trade deadline, those rumors were hot. I thought a deal was going to get done, but obviously the Bulls decided to stay put and not make any moves. But before we dive into that, I do want to tell you guys about today's presenting sponsor, and that is PrizePicks. Check out PrizePicks. Download the app, and when you're making your first deposit into your account, first deposit only, use that promo code CLNS, and we will match your first deposit up to $100. But PrizePicks is the #1 daily fantasy sports app out there, and with the NBA playoffs here, put your basketball knowledge to the test by creating a lineup for every single game you watch. And with the Pacers and Celtics getting underway tomorrow night, game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, this is the lineup I cooked up. I took the moron Jason Tatum, 10 rebounds, as he's been hitting the glass very hard this postseason. And then TJ McConnell, man, he's an absolute dog coming off the bench for Indiana. I'm taking his moron 10 points. Then I think Tyrese Halliburton really started to get it going at the end of that Knicks series. So I'm going to take the more on his 19.5 points. But hey, fade those picks, ride those picks. We just ask you guys, do it at PrizePicks. So pick more, pick less. It's that easy. It's PrizePicks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app out there. Simple. Choose two or more players. Pick more than or less than on some stat projections. You guys can start seeing the cash roll in today. Pick more, pick less. It's PrizePicks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app out there. All right, what's the latest around Zach LaVine and the Lakers? So, the number one question about Zach LaVine, possibly heading to the Lakers, is if the Bulls are finally going to want to move off him. Well, if they do decide to move off him, I think Zach LaVine would be another great choice for Los Angeles. Obviously, this would be sort of a homecoming for him, playing his college hoops, at UCLA, and he's been pretty vocal that he does want to, play with the Lakers. Him and his agent, Rich Paul, that Clutch Sports connection, they have pretty much came out and said that they would like to see Zach LaVine with the Lakers. I mean, LaVine was wearing freaking LA hats during his post-game interviews this past season with the Bulls. But, no doubt this past year with Chicago was his worst year of his NBA career. Wasn't efficient. The scoring wasn't there. He was I don't want to say a cancer in that locker room, but he just didn't really feel like a team player and that he really wanted to be there. Hence why he only averaged 19 points a game on 45% from the deck. But a trade would be hard for the Lakers, mainly because of his contract. I mean, this dude is set to make a whole lot of money. And, with where the Lakers are, like, they could either go all in on a guy like Zach LaVine and give up first-round picks, somehow make the contracts work, or they could take, like, a Dallas Mavericks route, which they did this past trade deadline, where they just got, two players in Daniel Gafford and P.J. Washington that just helped them get better on the margins. Like, I would prefer that route for the Lakers instead of going all in on this guy, Zach LaVine. But, man, you would have a lot of talent on that basketball team with LaVine, Bron, AD, Austin Reeves. Man, it would truly be special. But the question is, with Zach LaVine, will the Bulls finally be willing to move off their core of LaVine, DeRozan, and Vooch? Because they have stayed put at the NBA trade deadline for the past couple of seasons when pretty much any other front office, I think, would have been complete sellers at that deadline. The Bulls just remain the same, and they just have not made any moves. So I think that's the biggest question around LaVine. But the Lakers want to pull a trade off. This would be able to match contracts. So it would be D'Lo, Gabe Vincent, and Jared Vanderbilt. And the Lakers would obviously get Zach LaVine. Didn't have to throw in any first-round picks in this deal. Maybe the Bulls would want one, but I think LaVine's value's at an all-time low right now, so I don't think that would be necessary to pull off a trade like this. But, I mean, you would be able to move off D'Lo. Obviously, losing Jared Vanderbilt would really hurt. Really love him. There's just that, weapon he is defensively. But I think I would do this if I were the Lakers. But, hey, you guys let me know. Would you accept this trade? Give me an A for accept or a D for decline down in the comment section. Really curious if you guys would want to pull off this, pretty blockbuster move of getting LaVine to Los Angeles. Now, if we get any more updates around the Lakers head coaching search and, anything around the Lakers possibly getting D. Mitch, Garland, LaVine, any of those big-time names that has been connected to this team, we'll have a video for you guys ASAP. So hit that sub button, lock us in, help me out. I would really, really, really appreciate it. See you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Go Lakers.